Hi, Scott Orlin with Cinema-Magazine. New TV series coming your way. Get ready. It's called Lovecraft Country. And boy, it is something you are not going to be expecting at all. And one of the stars is Jurnee Smollett. Thank you so much for being here. I first have to congratulate you watching this. I thought you're now ready for the Olympics. You can swim, you can run, you can throw a baseball bat. You're covering all the bases.
I know. I definitely, when I read the pilot and it was like, oh, she's a track star, I was on that treadmill, man. And it was quite a feat to do some of those running scenes because the camera's propped on essentially a high speed golf cart. And it's on the back of it. And my ego would not let this golf cart leave me in the dust. So there were times that I was out racing the golf cart. But yeah, for sure, Misha has that. There's just something about her writing where she just demands that as an artist, you just stretch yourself to your limits and then beyond, which is why I really enjoy working with her.
What's so fascinating about this show, because I went in expecting one thing and it kind of veers off in several other different directions. So you can't kind of put your finger on it. But obviously, it's dealing with racial injustice. And sadly, we've seen after 50, 60 years, not much has changed. But what type of discussion do you hope that a show like this can provide an audience?
Well, I think we're seeing that, listen, we're fighting two pandemics right now, and systemic racism being one of them. I think my hope as an artist is that the work we create contributes to the dialogue that's already being had. When Nina Simone says that it's the duty of the artist to reflect the times, I very much so honor that and feel that, this show, it's very ancestral, and our heroes are going on a quest to bring down white supremacy, and racism is the biggest demonic spirit there is, and so I think it will force us to confront some of these issues. The systemic racism must be dismantled. And when you look at a character like Letty, and she has ambitions to pioneer into all white neighborhoods, to just buy a home. When you look at the laws that prohibited Black people from living in white homes, or the banks that refuse to give them loans, why do we think we're here where Black Americans own homes at a lower rate than their white counterparts? The system has been oppressive from the beginning, and we are seeing that it's not serving us as a nation, man. It's just not, and we cannot heal from it until we face it.
I don't know. You mentioned the word home, and I can't decide if you're brave or just totally insane, because if a house talks back to me, I'm gone. So how brave do you think you would be in this scenario?
Well, here's the thing with Letty, because she suffers from this feeling of displacement, she just wants to plant her feet in the soil and stay, because she has wandered so much and she's drifted so much and is looking for her tribe. I think if not now, then when? It's the stakes are so high for her, and that's why, I don't know that I could do it, but if I was in Letty's situation with all the other things that she's battling, probably, when you live at the intersection of multiple identities, like Letty, like myself, it's a great shock, like James Baldwin says, when you discover that there's no real place in this nation for you to have your own place. Like, it hasn't evolved any place for you. And so when will you get a place of your own? It boils down to the very mechanical elements of humanity, of wanting to have a space to be your whole full self.
But have you ever had a supernatural experience or something eerie like that?
There were some earthquakes this morning here in LA, so it was not too different. But honestly, in shooting Lovecraft, I'm not gonna lie, there were times where it just felt like there's something else that we're dealing with here, and I didn't take it lightly, and for sure knew that in stepping into this realm in which you are engaged in a spiritual warfare, it was sacred in the way I would approach it, but also a very spiritual way in approaching the text. Because I do believe that stuff is real.
One of the things which I love about period pieces is I don't necessarily want to go back and live in that, but I love the cars of that culture. Sometimes the clothing, the elegance. I mean,
Music.
the music, when she threw that party, she looked like a rock star. I mean, it was amazing, your character. So talk about, as an actor, you get to kind of weave in and out of that. How different do you feel in that period?
Oh, completely different. Are you kidding me? I'm literally a boy most times, like in sweats and so with Letty, for sure, it's about the undergarments. Oddly enough, changes your posture. The heels, the clothes, everything. It makes you walk differently. And so approaching the physicality of Letty, there was a dignity that they had back then. It was very radical to be so dignified in spite of your oppression. And so there were elements of that I worked on just to house in my body physically. You know, she can't be contained. She can't be cooped up. She's so buoyant and very fluid. And I wanted that, to be expressed, not just through the text, but also in my body as well.
Well, thank you for the dignity of this interview, Julie. I really appreciate it. It's such a pleasure. The show is called Lovecraft Country, and this is Scott Orlin. Until next time.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Jurnee. Bye.
Bye.